Hello. So, for a long time, many of you have asked me about my cancer journey. Those who have followed me for a while know that I went through cancer. Anyone who is going through their cancer journey may feel a little bit better knowing that someone else did go through that. So today I am doing this get ready with me. We are going to try something new. I actually found this. Oh, it is a Cheetos eyeshadow palette. Look at how cool those colors look. I hope the pigmentation is good. I haven't even swatched them, so we'll find out. We're gonna start with the eyebrows. This is the Chella Tantalizing Taupe Eyebrow Color. Anything that I use in this video, I will link down below so that you can find it if you want to look for it. I was diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer, 2 years ago. I actually started, many people ask me like, how did you realize you had it, or like how did you encounter it and stuff like that. So I actually started having like a sharp pain on my right breast. I would feel it just like sporadically. It would just be like a sharp pain all of a sudden, and it tended to get worse and worse. But I didn't have any lumps or anything. It was just that sharp pain. After some time, because I was like, oh, it's weird, but like, whatever. But when it started getting worse, I was like, oh, maybe I should get checked. And I also started feeling like tenderness in that area, like a small mass. So I was like, okay, I definitely have to get this checked out. So I remember going to the doctor, and the doctor sent me to get like a mammogram. I was already getting mammograms every year since I was younger, so I was already getting mammograms every year. But he sent me to go get a mammogram, and turns out that the results of the mammogram came out incomplete. So I have to remember to do my makeup while I'm talking. So the mammogram came out incomplete, which I don't even know what that really means, but I guess it means that they didn't have enough, they couldn't read it clearly to determine anything. But even though it was incomplete, my doctor referred me to a surgeon so that I could get the mass removed because it was bothering me. What happens when I go to the surgeon's office? They do not want to see me because they said that they were giving priority to people who had clear results on their mammograms. They were giving priority to people who had malignant masses. And since nothing was determined on my mammogram, they refused to see me. I also went to various other surgeons, and they refused to see me. So they told me that I had to wait another year to get a mammogram again. And no, first they told me that I had to go back to where I got the mammogram, and that they would have to kind of reevaluate it, kind of like give a more clear result. So I went to the place where I got the mammogram done, and they said that there was nothing that they could do, that I had to wait a year to get another mammogram. So I waited, but everything got worse and worse and worse. The mass was growing. My breast was very heavy. It started changing color, like bluish, purplish color. And my nipple was inverted, which is something else that is not a good sign. So I was like, I knew that even if my insurance wouldn't cover it, I knew that I would be allowed to get another mammogram in 6 months. So in 6 months, when 6 months were up, I went back to my doctor and I told him that I wanted to get a mammogram because I was feeling very uncomfortable. He examined me and he was like, whoa, like this is not good. I got a mammogram that day. I will never forget the face of the radiologist that did the mammogram for me, because she just looked like she was looking at a dead person, honestly, like if she had just seen like a ghost. And I laugh now, but it wasn't funny back then. I will never forget her face. She seemed very, very worried. And she told me, you know, when I do this mammogram, it is going to hurt a lot. And I said, that's fine. I went to get the mammogram, and this may be TMI for some of you, but there was even secretion coming out of my breasts, which was not a good sign either. She sent me directly back to, like, they called me back the same day with the results to pick up the results, and I went back to my doctor with the results. As soon as I got the results, I could already see that it said malignant on it. So I already knew that there was something. So I was like, my thought though was that maybe it was something that they could just remove and that's it and be done with it. But that was not my case. I went back to my doctor. My doctor contacted by phone a surgeon directly and asked him to see me that same day. So I don't remember if it was that same day or the next, but yeah, he see me like super quick. So when I went to the surgeon's office, he told me that looking at my case, that I did have breast cancer, and that looking at my case, I would need chemotherapy, surgery, and radiation. So that was kind of like a shocker for me, because I didn't think that I would need all of that. Like something inside of me kind of knew that I would need chemotherapy, but it's different when you like hear it from someone and it's very real. I was referred to an oncologist, and he asked me if I had someone to kind of like take care of me, kind of like on a daily basis. And obviously, like, I was there with my now fiance, and he had to work, and I didn't really have anyone that would be able to take me to all of my appointments and all that type of stuff. So the doctor did tell me to consider, kind of like to make a decision if I wanted to stay or move back to Boston, where I would have more family support. He did tell me, I asked him basically how much time do I have, to be able to like act in time, because they did, both the surgeon and the oncologist told me that the cancer that I had was very, very aggressive. And that I had to act fast. So I asked him, how much time I had, and he told me that if I did not get help, if I did not start treatment within a month or in a month, max, that I would not make it. So that's when I decided, to move back to Boston. I really did need like that family support, and I did need someone to like take me to my appointments and kind of just like go through the process with me. So I moved to Boston. I left my kids in Puerto Rico. They live with their father, but I did have to leave the island, so I would be further away from them, and I would be in a long distance relationship with my now fiance. It was tough. It was tough because honestly, I was at a moment where I actually was asking myself, okay, do I want to leave and get treated far away, or do I want to stay and not get treated and just kind of like enjoy the rest of my life that I have left and just not get treated? At this time, I was very like into everything like holistic. I would exercise 5 to 6 times a week. I did weight training. I was very fit, thin, fit. Um, I ate healthy. So I was kind of also asking myself, like, why did this happen to me if I take such good care of myself? So it was tough. It was tough. But I did come here to Boston. I was seen by an oncologist here, and I was started up on chemotherapy pretty quickly. I feel that chemotherapy was the worst part of my treatment and has been the worst part of like my cancer journey. Something else that I did not know is that I really thought it was kind of like, okay, I go get my treatment, get chemotherapy, and kind of like just move back to Puerto Rico and get done with it, and that's it. But it wasn't that case. Like I was like, I just go to through chemotherapy. If I survive, great. If not, then I don't. But I did not know that cancer, I look really funny. I did not know that cancer would affect me, affect my life as much as it did. Um, I guess I just didn't see it as like a long-term type of thing. So, yeah. So I was on chemotherapy for 6 months. Um, yeah, I was on chemotherapy for 6 months. After chemotherapy was horrible. I didn't even like feel like myself most of the time. Um, Also, chemotherapy affects so many things in your body, more than people mention. For example, apart from like feeling super weak, I got pain down to my bones where I could not get up off the bed. I got your nails get affected. In my case, my toenails got affected, and I know this may be TMI for some of you, but for those of you who are going through this, it's okay. So my toenails, they fell off. Like they completely fell off. I was nauseous, I had headaches, my body was aching, my bones were aching, I was weak, I lost my hair, which is a whole nother experience too. You would think, because I would say, oh, it's just hair, it's fine. But when I actually had to go through it and all of my hair was just like falling and falling, it was quite impactful. It was quite impactful. So, you know, after I finished with chemotherapy, it was also really, really tough being far away from my boyfriend, because he's the closest person in my life, and we're just very, very, we just understand each other, you know, so it was tough not having him with me, and I couldn't travel either for some time. So I finished chemotherapy and then it was time for surgery. So for me, the chemotherapy reduced, oh, well, by the way, my cancer had spread to like my neck and my chest. So it had already spread. So the first surgery I had was a lumpectomy because with chemotherapy, it reduced the mass that I had, but it just reduced it a little bit. It wasn't as effective as they thought it was going to be. I got a lumpectomy. So lumpectomy is when they remove like the mass and basically tissue around it. And they also removed all of my lymph nodes on my right hand side. So on my right arm, honestly, the lymph node removal was, out of like all the surgeries, was the most painful one for me. It is no joke. And so I got my lymph nodes removed. I got lymph node reconstruction, which is a process that they do to reduce lymphedema in the future. And basically what they do is they take a vein from like your leg and they put it in your arm. So I got my lymph nodes removed. I got lymphatic reconstruction, and I also got a lumpectomy. They were trying to save my breasts, hoping that the lumpectomy would be enough, but when they went in there, they noticed that it was much worse than they thought. So, after I got through that surgery and was home, my surgeon called me and told me it was much worse than they thought, and we would have to proceed with a mastectomy. In my case, my surgeon had already told me that because I was so young, that I would have cancer again during my lifetime. And he said, "Oh, but don't worry, you can get treated again. There's no problem with that." But nobody wants to get treated again. Nobody wants to be in that position again. So we discussed certain things, and finally, I really wanted a double mastectomy. And we just kind of took a look at the risks. I got full scans, and final decision was that yes, I would be getting a double mastectomy, especially since I wouldn't be getting like implants for reconstruction, and at that moment I was planning to get a reconstruction, like get breasts again. So at that moment, I was planning to get breasts again, and the option at that moment was to get a deep flap reconstruction, which is when they take tissue from your abdomen to create boobies, to create breasts. So we did a double mastectomy. Well, they did it. And when I got my double mastectomy, I got a flat closure. So I also talked to my plastic surgeon so that he would do a flat closure because I wanted it to look as nice and flat as possible. So after that surgery, it was a big one, and I feel like I was happy to go through my double mastectomy because I truly was, but at the same time, like it was shocking when I took like when it was time to take like the bandages off. It was shocking because there are no boobs there. Like, it's a part of your body. It's like if someone took off like, any other part of your body. So it is a process. It is a healing process, and you do have to kind of like be grateful and be happy with your body, the way that it is. But yes, it was a it was a process. After I got my double mastectomy, radiation. So we did wait a while for me to get healed, and then we moved on to the radiation. For the radiation, I actually have another condition called functional neurologic disorder. And I get non-epileptic seizures whenever I'm in high stress, or sometimes I don't even know why I get them. So during that process that I had to get radiation, I would always get the non-epileptic seizures when it was time for me to get the radiation, and therefore they were not able to do it because I also have to be aware and awake and follow instructions during the radiation process, and that wasn't happening because I was having the seizures. So I actually was hospitalized and put on medication, and I actually received a Reiki before radiation time. So I would receive Reiki, and then I would go in for my radiation. So I was hospitalized for I received radiation for 29 days. So I was in the hospital for a month. Now, with radiation, at least this is how it was in my case, I didn't feel any of the effects of radiation. I didn't feel any of the effects of radiation when I went in for radiation. But all of the effects I had were after the month, after I was out of the hospital. So basically, like, my skin, it was just like all burnt, and it was what we say in Spanish, carne viva. It's like very like the top layers of skin are non-existent, and it's just was just very, very painful, and it's a burn, you know? It's a really bad burn. So I I kind of dealt with that at home. Thankfully, my mother helped me. I only used Aquaphor. I just would put on loads of Aquaphor, just to kind of like help the healing process. Yeah, just kind of like get through it. It was very painful though, very, very painful. Once I finished the radiation, comes basically just like hormone treatment, cancer treatment. I actually get even even before that, like right after my chemo, I got, what do you call it? Lupron injections. So what happens is that the cancer that I got would feed off of estrogen. So in order to prevent reoccurrence, the doctors found ways to basically cut off my estrogen production so that the cancer cannot feed off of estrogen because it won't exist in my body. So this means that I would get injections. I still do get injections every month uh, so that my ovaries don't produce estrogen, and then I take medication so that my body doesn't produce estrogen. I do have to mention, I do have to touch the topic about weight. There are some people, depending on the treatment that they receive, they're told from the beginning that they will lose weight. And there are other people that, depending on their treatment and their bodies, will gain weight. I was told from the beginning that I would be gaining weight. And I was like, fine, I'll gain a little bit of weight. I'll just kind of like be careful, take care of it. But the truth is that I gained a lot of weight. Since I was diagnosed with cancer up until now, I have gained 50 pounds, 50. And it's something I'm kind of working with, because no matter what I would do, fasting, exercising, eating differently, the weight just wouldn't come off. So yeah, that's another challenge, the weight part of it. But you know, you just got to take it little by little, day by day, and kind of do the best for you that you can. Oh my god, I literally feel like I have Cheetos on my eyelids. In the best way possible. Up to date right now, like, a lot of people tell me, oh, how is that going, like, what are you up to? I was also put on Verzenio for some time, which is a medication to kind of like reduce the risk of reoccurrence, like reduce the chances that you will get cancer again. But that medication, it killed me. Like, it made me so weak. I would get nauseous. I had like a lot of GI problems. I would have diarrhea all the time. I had accidents outside my house. Like, it was just horrible. It was horrible. And I just felt like I couldn't handle it. And my hair was falling out. So I ended up like shaving my head again, and it was just a lot. So my doctor decided to discontinue that for a while because it was just so bad that I had to discontinue it. So right now, what I do get are my lupron injections every month. Oh, another thing is that with chemotherapy, I did stop having my period. So I went into like an early menopause, and I do get like hot flashes and all the symptoms of anyone who is going through menopause. So we add that to the list too. So I'm very grateful that I survived, and I'm very grateful for the life that I live right now. But what people may not realize is that, and I don't mean to like scare you or anything, but it is something that does change your life. And you kind of just have to accept the fact that you're never going to, you know, you can, it's not that your life isn't going to be great, but it is going to be different. Like, there will be things that you have to approach differently. Like, I, for example, have like, I'd say on average, like 4 to 5 appointments every month. So that is something that I did not have before being diagnosed with cancer. And I am okay with that now. I am at peace with that now, but that was not always the case. Your attitude towards everything does matter. You do want to keep like the most positive. It's hard because honestly, through my chemotherapy, I did go through very like dark moments where I just wanted to give up. I just did not want any more chemotherapy, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, I cannot physically do this anymore. But thankfully, I pushed through. I do have to mention, I was supposed to do like 16 sessions of chemotherapy, and I only did 14 because I was actually starting to get neuropathy, which is when your nerves in your arms and legs are affected. And I wasn't feeling my legs. My legs, it was getting difficult to walk. So I wasn't able to finish like the whole plan because there were other risks too. Obviously, I didn't want to be paralyzed. So yeah, that's basically my cancer story. Like I said, I still have to see the doctors, like 5 doctors, 5 appointments a month. I decided at the end, like once I got like my double mastectomy and my flat closure, I actually ended up loving it, and decided that I did not want a reconstruction. Everyone's situation is different, and other people may feel more comfortable with getting a reconstruction, but in my case, it was something that I thought about very thoroughly, and it's just like my body, my instincts, me, like I just didn't want to do it. If I ever want to do it, I know that I have the opportunity to do it, but for now, I am very happy with a flat closure. If I were to give a piece of advice to someone who is going through this process or any difficult process, is just to think that the really tough moments do not last forever. The really tough moments just kind of like dissipate, and the more you take on things, tough things, the easier it is going to be in the future. Trust the process, basically. What is this? Vintage by Jessica Lipskind. Smoky eye pencil. I do feel very fortunate to have been in a hospital where I feel welcome. I am grateful for everyone who basically participated in the process, was there for me in the process. And yeah, this is me now. This experience obviously changed my outlook on life. It just made me realize that I want to be spending my life, my days, every single day doing something that I'm passionate about, something that I like. I'm not into wasting time. I value my time very, very much. So like also like the people who I interact with and spend time with, I kind of like value very much other people's time too. And you know, life's not a joke. Like we're all here for a limited amount of time. But experiences like this, at least for me, just made me realize that before I kind of would waste time in things that were not important, or not in alignment with my authentic self, with my goals. And I honestly, I just feel like it made me be such a more empathetic person and kind of like be more kind to people in general. Not that I was mean before or anything like that, but I feel like sometimes like the smallest action, like just saying hi to someone, or good morning, or hope you have a great day, or little things like that can really, really change someone's day. And it can also change yours. So in the best way possible. So, that is my Cancer story. I thought I was gonna do like a more bold look, but I'm kind of just digging this like simple, diffused RNG look, and I feel like I have Cheeto dust all over my eyelids in the best way possible. So we're going to put a little bit of blush. This is the Rare Beauty blush. This one is Joy. I am digging this. Lipstick, and we are done. So if you have any questions about breast cancer in general or the process, you know, there are so many things I may have left something out, just comment down below. Make sure you send this video to someone who is going through breast cancer, because it might, you know, it might help. I would have liked to be more in contact with people who were going through what I was going through. I need a lip liner though, and I don't know where my darker ones are, so we're just gonna have to go with this one. I do kind of feel like going with the brown lip though. This one is Teddy 2.0, but it's like the new formula of the MAC lipsticks. Oh yeah, this is nice. Love that. So yeah, let me just put some setting spray on. Yay. So if you liked this video, if you liked this makeup, if you liked this chit chat, if you liked anything about my video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more. I know this is not what I usually talk about, but this just felt right today. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Ciao.